there were a couple of guys, one of whom I had on the podcast, Brandon Caserta. They were acquitted. There were a couple of other guys who I think unwisely, but understandably, took plea deals. And the problem with a plea deal is you're consenting to your involvement into a sentence. So you have to live with it. It's not easy to get out of that. But two guys went to trial and were convicted. But they were convicted because the judge, a guy named Robert J. Jonker, what a name, Jonker. Anyway, Judge Jonker would not allow evidence of the magnitude of the FBI involvement in concocting the scheme. A lot of the notes, the recordings, the out-of-court statements by these informants and agents was excluded from the trial. And so Barry Croft and Adam Fox are now appealing to the Sixth Circuit Court. And the Sixth Circuit Court had a hearing in which the judges expressed a lot of skepticism about the exclusion of this evidence. Basically, what the judges said is that if this evidence has been improperly excluded, and second, if the effect of it is to prejudice the outcome, in other words, make a difference. Sometimes you exclude something and it doesn't make any difference. So had you included it, big deal. It wouldn't have made any difference. We didn't tell the jury that the defendant went to a movie the day after the murder. Well, okay, you didn't tell. That was not brought up in the trial or was excluded from evidence, but what difference would it make? Either he did it or he didn't. Whether he went to a movie afterward may not be so consequential. But here, the question is, it could be consequential. In fact, I think it was consequential. And after the hearing, we now have a notification to the prosecution, and I'm going to read it because it's very telling. Assuming that the informants, this is the FBI informants, out-of-court statements should have been admitted, was the district court's error in excluding those statements harmful or harmless, and why? So I read this to mean that the circuit court has already decided, you know what, this material should have been included. But we haven't made up our mind on how important it is and what a difference it would make. Now, to me, this is silly. Obviously, if you haven't included a volume of information about the magnitude of government pre-involvement in the plot, it is consequential. It does make a difference. It makes all the difference.